Hi, Alex. Welcome to the podcast.
Glad to meet you and speak with you today.
How are you? How are you doing?
I'm very well. I'm doing quite okay. Yeah, it's beautiful weather here in South Korea.
In recent years, exploded like anything. Students are genuinely excited about the usage, whereas some of them are terrified with the usage of AI. And recently, you wrote a paper, Beyond the Detection, that argues how we need to ethically and transparently use AI. So, what are your thoughts on this? Do you actually think that Scopus or Web of Science helping the publisher to publish their papers in the journals or not?
Well, I think that the simple matter of the fact is that we've been seeing a lot of fear. I was with universities when ChatGPT first came out several years ago, and I remember the kind of fear that people were having. A lot of it started out with, oh, well, it's just not that good. It gives a lot of bad information. And that kind of seems to be the wave that we've been riding this entire time, where universities especially and publishers as well never expected AI to get that much better. But the writing was on the wall that it was going to get better, and the techniques that we use to kind of screen and detect AI is falling apart, right?
Okay.
And for that reason, we've seen a shift, especially in the last few years when I talk with publishers and academics especially, where it's like, how do we operate in an environment where we know that a student could lie to us and publish a paper that they had not written?
Okay.
And the answer to that, of course, is to just make sure that we don't penalize people for using ethical AI, right?
Okay.
And by what I mean by ethical AI is something that it works more alongside you like an editor or a peer would, helping you scope out your ideas, helping you draft information rather than writing an entire essay for you.
Okay. So students are almost using AI for almost every single thing in their research, like whether it's writing the literature review, doing the synthesis and the summary. What are some do's and don'ts that we need to keep in our mind while we are using AI ethically?
I mean, the recommendation I always give people is that you have to treat AI like it's an intern. Imagine the newest person at your company, right? Would you trust them with this task? And if you would, then it's probably a really, really good task for AI.
Okay.
But if you can't check its work, that's where we suddenly reach a point where I would worry it would become unethical usage, right? So if you're using AI to do, let's say, compile a bunch of research data together, check those stats, check those figures, right? And then be sure to declare that you used an AI to do that kind of analysis work.
Okay. So you quoted that you worked with the ChatGPT, well, like one that was exploding. So ChatGPT, Jenni, or other AI tools. How the process is working behind the scenes?
Well, as I wrote in my paper, the main way that we detect AI writing is through a process called perplexity analysis.
Okay.
So how this worked early on is that we took a bunch of writing and research and essays from university students before ChatGPT became a thing.
Okay.
And we made a codex of a library of text, and then we compare papers against that library of text. So if it uses words that ChatGPT uses more often than a human would, then it's more likely that it's a ChatGPT draft paper.
Okay.
This was very effective early on with ChatGPT 3.5 and earlier models like DaVinci 2. But over time, of course, these models have a lot more modality and a lot more understanding. And so they're capable of writing much more humanly. And the mathematics shows that perplexity analysis is not going to work for much longer, right?
Okay.
So, no, I would say that, like, if you look at ChatGPT or Claude or even Jenni, Jenni for a period of time did have an AI detector built into the editor as a way of saying, like, make sure that this is a correct amount of, ethical AI usage. But we actually removed that feature because of the fact that we stand behind the point that you should just be able to declare outright how much AI you've used or not.
So you are working with a lot of researchers and with the AI tools also. Will every successful researcher, or we can say every person who is in the research field, is using AI?
On the serious level, people working with major research groups, NASA, it's one of the best parts of my job is this great opportunity to talk to people researching very, very, very fascinating things. And AI has touched literally every field of academia.
Okay.
So, if you're in one of those rare academic careers where you get to sit in your office all day and think about complex physics equations, then yeah, probably AI hasn't touched you for a while yet, but it'll get there eventually. Right.
Okay, so if we're talking, so we are right now talking about the PhD scholars or who are doing their research in certain domains. So everybody is using AI on every single platform. So according to you, what we should do from AI and what we should not?
It's very straightforward. What you should do with AI is
Mm-hmm.
treat it as if it is your collaborative partner. But, and this is another critical thing, don't let it be smarter than you.
Okay. Okay.
The moment that you think that the AI is smarter than you is when these mistakes start to show up.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Trust yourself as a human. Trust your grounded sense of your subject matter expertise. Review everything it's giving you and thinking, does this fit my framework? Sometimes AI spits out very, very good ideas. Like I'll say there's been a number of papers that I've been working on recently where the topic has vastly shifted after dialoguing with an AI agent. But also sometimes an AI agent will say something to me and I have to go, no, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard someone say. Right? So yeah, my take on it is like treat it, like I said earlier, like an intern, like someone that is just a colleague that you're working with. You pass tasks to them, they pass tasks back, but you have to check it. You have to make sure that they're not messing things up because this really matters. What we do is very important.
Okay.
And then what not to do, of course, is to let the AI, let yourself become a mouthpiece for AI.
Okay.
Right? If you're in an environment, if you're in a situation where 100% of the things that you're posting is from the AI, then I'd rather just read the prompt. Okay. Right? I may as well just read the prompt. And I don't just mean this in academia. I think we see it everywhere, people on Twitter tweeting out things that are clearly AI written. People in our own lives sending us letters that are AI written. We're going to reach a point soon where it's like, do I need this email drafted by Claude or Jenny or any of these other tools? Or could you have just sent me the prompt, right?
And then there are some AI tools call themselves as humanizers. Like we can help you write your AI generated content as humanized. So what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think it is one of the most unethical things you could possibly do. And I think that's exactly what I'm saying is if you're in a point where you're submitting this research and you feel the need to humanize it, you probably haven't spent enough time on that paper, right? But of course it'll work. And I mean, that's the one thing that these AI detectors are completely flawed against is slight changes in the paper structure, because that's how AI detection works. We look for these AI tells, right? It's not this, it's that, or the rule of threes, where it lifts off three of the same thing. That's how we detect AI writing. And it's like you said, it's like you don't need a machine to do it. You give me, I much like you spend probably 6 hours a day interfacing with AI, right? I'm very familiar with how it talks. I can pick out models, like I can tell you which model wrote that.
Exactly.
Right? Down to like the revision version. And the reason for that is because, these AI agents have a sense of taste and they have preferences in the way that they write. But the thing that is changing is that as these models get larger, their preferences get wider and these detection tools don't work as much, right? Okay. So yeah, like for the time being, I'm not going to like pretend to deny it. And all the researchers and university professors I talk to know this as well. You can humanize your paper. The thing that I'd have to ask back to students is if you feel you're in a situation where you need to submit a paper that's not yours, what are you doing, man? Like, why are you in that class? Why are you in this university? I think that just to jump in quick here, I think that the important thing to think about is that, yeah, you will be able to use a humanizer and you will be able to submit that paper and you will be able to submit 1,000 papers that way. You may be able to get your bachelor's degree that way. But then when you get into the work field and you're trying to do real work in that field, we can tell you're a fraud. We can tell that you've been faking it to make it. Exactly. And I think that that's like the long-term truth of this, right? It's not whether or not we can detect one AI paper. It's whether or not that's the career you want to build for yourself.
Okay, now let's talk about the Scopus and the Web of Science journals. So what are they actually expecting from the researchers? So will AI written content or AI written papers are accepted in that journals?
So when we talk with papers right now, the main things that they are actually concerned about is not really AI writing at all. Okay. They're mainly concerned about how AI writing has enabled bad actors that have already existed in the system. Okay. So what I mean by bad actors are things like paper mills and things like, for many cases, unethical researchers that they've known about for years that are now vastly increasing their output process. The thing about the paper system and the way that publication works is that it takes a long time to review everything.
Okay.
It's very difficult to review everything. And so one of the biggest problems that we have is that, research papers are not really worried about whether or not your individual piece of research has AI writing in it. They don't have the time to be worried about that.
Okay.
They are worried about the quality of your paper, but more what they're under stress under is just the quantity of submissions that have now risen up, right? And so that's the second thing that I'd say is it's like if you're submitting a paper that is 99% written by Claude, someone else has already submitted that paper.
Okay. Okay. And we are talking about the quality of the paper or the quantity of the papers we are getting. So can we write a well quality paper from AI?
Of course you can write a quality paper with AI, but it's not going to be a single prompt, right? If it would take you 6 hours to write a good paper, and you spent that 6 hours with Claude instead, you should be able to output an excellent paper.
Okay.
Right? But I think you'll find that the amount of effort that you put into making that paper is going to be about the same. Right?
Okay.
It's just that the speed at which you will be able to work will be vastly increased.
Okay, so we can get better quality papers from AI and we can get better quality of summaries from AI. That is what you meant?
Yes, yes. I mean, for the most part, yes.
So we have some audience questions. I'm going to ask them. So the first one is, can AI write my entire literature review?
No, it can't. I mean, it can and it can't. It can write a literature review, but not a very good one.
Okay. Can AI identify research gaps for me and convert them into possible objective hypotheses and help me complete entire PhD?
Yeah, it absolutely can do that. And that's one of the best things it's best at, right? It's not, I mean, is it going to help you complete your entire PhD? Yes, it can help you complete your entire PhD.
But it cannot help on your behalf.
No, it can't speak on your behalf. But in terms of what you're describing, which is finding gaps in research analysis, that's one of the things it's best at.
Okay.
So like load up all the research in a domain into Jenni and then ask chat, like, read all these papers and tell me what's missing between them. And that'll give you a great avenue for pursuing PhD research.
Okay. AI allowed in Scopus index journals?
Depends on the journal.
Okay.
But for the most part, we find that journals are opening up for AI usage for sure.
Okay, so how we can use AI generated content to write or publish our papers in Scopus and text journals?
Well, the first thing to do is to check the particular journal that you're submitting to and see their AI policy. It'll be on the submission guidance lines, and then I mean it's the same as doing any other sort of submission, right? So often they just need an AI declaration.
Okay. So if I am stating that I am taking full responsibility or I have used Jenni for such and such case, so will my paper or my research will get flagged because I am using an AI tool?
No, not at all. The only way it gets flagged is when you don't declare it, right? I mean, assuming that the paper that you're submitting to has an AI policy where they allow AI writing, then of course declaring it is the only ethical thing.
Okay.
Not declaring it is going to have huge consequences for your career.
Okay. So we are talking on two scenarios. One, we have to declare that I am using the tool. And on the secondary C, we always say that do not use AI tools. So if I'm declaring that, yes, I have used Jenni for such and such case, or I have written my whole chapter by using AI, or I have written all my research papers by using AI. So what all universities are accepting this or journals are accepting? Because students are genuinely worried about the declaration.
It's not an easy thing, right? Like, there's a lot of universities out there and they all have very different policies, and there's a lot of journals out there and they all have very different policies, and it can really hurt when you've spent a lot of time writing a paper with AI and then look to submit it and you find out that they have an anti-AI policy. So the guidance we give is, look to that first. It's always very clearly published on their webpage. It's very easy to find. And that's really the only ethical way to do it.
So you are being in this space from a very long time. So according to you, after 5 years, what will be the future of AI in academic writing or research?
I mean, we're going to see a really, really large shift in the way that universities operate and the way that they get things done. I mean, everybody's afraid of losing jobs to AI, of course. Um, and I'd say in the next 5 years, the thing that you should diversify into is taste,
Okay.
right? And what I mean by taste is that we live in a world where lots and lots of people are needed to do very simple work.
Okay.
The number of chemists I know that wanted to be great, dynamos in chemistry, and ended up basically just cleaning pipettes all day. Those jobs are going to disappear.
Okay.
So the thing that we need to be spending the most time on in these next 5 years is like, what is my voice? What is my taste? What differentiates me from these AI models, right?
Okay.
And that's where it's going to really, really stand out.
Why should I choose Jenni and not any other tool in the market?
Every AI tool has a different workspace that they're trying to become the best in, right?
Okay.
The worst of them is definitely ChatGPT because it's trying to be everything. Claude is very, very powerful, but I often find that their new handrails are very bad for research. I don't know if you read the paper recently where they were inserting bad advice to the model to give when people were working on competing AI models.
Okay.
You can't trust your research with that if you're trying to compete with Claude. Jenni is trying to be like an all-in-one workspace where you can just sit down and get work done and not get distracted, and that's why it always holds my vote.
Okay. Before we close this podcast, I'm going to say one sentence and you just have to complete that. The researchers who will succeed in the AI era are the one who
are the most creative.
Okay. Creative with writing or creative with the usage of AI?
Creative with everything. You got to be thinking outside the box.
Okay, so before going, if you want to give one tip to researchers, what would it be?
Start writing earlier, especially now. I mean, obviously, we talk a lot about Jenni here, but especially now, spend less time in the thinking and revision phase and start drafting that draft yesterday. Because now it is so easy to go back and review and edit and cut and put new things in that dreaming of the perfect first draft is just burning daylight. Okay.
Thank you so much, Alex, for this insightful podcast. You have really shared great insights about a lot of things, and I hope after listening to this, people start working better and they start researching early and start using AI better.
Thank you so much for your time.